these out. Just hand it to me. No, just. I'll just take a second to remove
That's
it.
okay.
Seated at the end of the council table is Michael.
Okay, thank you.
He's an IT person from Administrative Office of the District Attorney, and he is here to bring up the exhibits on the screen when we call for him.
Why don't you introduce him to the jury? Okay, they won't be wondering who's that counsel.
Sure. All right, I'll do that now. Thank you.
Are we ready, Ms. Romo?
All rise.
The state will now present its evidence. After the state has presented its evidence, the defendant may present evidence, but they're not required to do so because the burden is always on the state to prove defendant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. State and call your first witness.
We do have one matter prior to that. We'd like to introduce Michael Lord to the jury. Michael Lord is with AODA, and he's going to be assisting us with our technical, our videos and audios and pictures and so forth.
Can you tell what AODA means?
Oh, AODA is an administrative office of the district attorney, and so he works for the state over the district attorneys.
And he's simply helping them with their technology.
That's right. Your Honor, the state calls witness Kyle Kraniak. I do not. No, thank you, Your Honor.
Let me show you in. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Go ahead and take a seat.
Good afternoon. Can you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Sure, my name is Kyle Kraniak.
And where are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed as a deputy in McHenry County. It's a suburb of Chicago, Illinois.
And how long have you been there?
Since July 25th of 2016.
And where were you employed prior to that?
The Rio Rancho Police Department.
And how long were you there?
For about 5.5 years.
And can you give us a brief description of the assignments that you had while you were employed there?
I was a patrol officer.
And what sort of, did you have any special training or anything to be a patrol officer?
I went to the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Department, their academy, that I was certified. And I was a field investigator, and I had some other miscellaneous certifications.
Okay. And during your employment with the Rio Rancho Police Department, did you come to know Officer Gregg Benner?
Yes, I did.
And how did you know him?
I worked with him, and I went to the academy with him.
Okay. There's a book in front of you. I'm going to have you open that and look at, they're numbered. Look at the exhibits number 1, 3, and 4. Are you having trouble finding it?
No, I'm finding it.
Okay. It's just numbers 1, 3, and 4. Do you recognize who's in those photos?
Yes.
Okay. And Your Honor, permission to publish to the jury what's previously been stipulated to exhibits 1, 3, and 4? Oh, Your Honor, I'm sorry, we do need the laptop here connected. It's over here, Your Honor, on our table.
Let me ask the jury, are your screens on?
No, sir. No, sir.
See, didn't they just be, the screens may just be off?
They're just powered off.
don't you continue on with your direct, and then we'll bring it back, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Officer Kraniak, can you tell us a little bit about what you know about Officer Benner's background?
I know that he was prior military. He was retired military. He was born in Oklahoma, but he lived in England for a little bit, and then he came back stateside.
Okay. And you had said that you knew him through work, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And how often did you communicate with him?
All the time.
Did you have any contact with him outside of work?
Yes.
And how often?
Every once in a while.
Okay. I'm going to take you back to the day before the incident that we're actually here to talk about. We're going to go to May 24th, 2015. And were you on duty that day?
Yes, ma'am.
And where were you?
I was in Red River, New Mexico.
Why were you there?
I was working the motorcycle rally. The marshals up in Red River hire state police, Rio Rancho PD, and a few other agencies to help with the motorcycle rally.
Why do they do that?
Just for manpower. I mean, you're talking about, 14,000 plus motorcycle riders.
And how many Rio Rancho police officers do you think were there?
I would say approximately 16.
Was Officer Benner one of them?
Yes.
Did anything occur during that trip to Red River that stands out in your mind regarding Officer Benner?
Yes.
And what was that?
The very last day was a Sunday, and they have this Connex where they feed us lunch and dinner and stuff like that. And it was the very last day, so we're all kind of debriefing. Some of the Rio Rancho officers, myself included, Nigel, Sergeant Thacker, and a bunch of the state police guys, and a bunch of the U.S. Marshals. And we're all talking. I was asking.
Let me stop you for a second. I'm sorry, but you said Nigel. Now, who's Nigel?
We called Gregg Nigel.
Why is that?
That's the name he preferred, actually.
Okay. So it was a nickname?
Yes.
So when you say Nigel, you're referring to Officer Gregg Benner?
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead.
So we're all sitting, and I asked Nigel, I was like,
Objection is to be hearsay.
You gotta be approach.
Hold on, that's not hearsay. What he asked is not hearsay.
No, but the response is about to be hearsay.
What did he ask? What did you ask him?
Your Honor, I asked him if he would ever work the motorcycle rally again.
And without specifically stating what Officer Benner told you, can you tell us kind of the gist of how the conversation went?
He said, essentially,
Hearsay. Sustained.
So, Your Honor, may we approach? All right. Now, without specifically saying what Nigel said, can you give us sort of the gist of what had gone on?
Essentially, he would choose not to work it again because he was too. He hated being away from his wife, Julie.
Thank you. Now, let's move to the next day. May 25th of 2015. Were you on duty that day?
Yes, ma'am.
And what shift were you working?
I was working early graves.
What is that?
So it was 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning, or 2 a.m. in the next morning.
So you came in 4 p.m. on that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And was Officer Benner also working that day?
Yes.
Did you respond to any of the same calls that Officer Benner did?
Yes.
Do you recall any of those?
Yes.
Can you take us through a few of them?
Right. The first one we responded together that day was we went to an apartment complex called Entrada Point, which is within the city of Rio Rancho. It's in the area of Southern and Country Club. And it was an animal call, and it was a pit bull. And Nigel got there first, I got there second, and then Sergeant Alderete, he got there third, and we spent the next 45 minutes to, I would say, hour trying to rescue this pit bull off of a balcony from, and it was an abandoned apartment, and they left the dog outside, and it was clearly, you could tell that there was nothing left in the apartment, and the dog had no food, no water, and we spent quite a bit of time rescuing that dog.
Do you know what time that was?
It was a little bit before, I'd probably say we got there around 7 in the afternoon, so 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Okay. So time-wise, when do you think you left that call?
It was right before 8 o'clock.
And where did you go next?
From that, I got sent I believe it was a civil in the area of Cabazon. It was off Danzanite Road. And so I was going that way, and then he also asked for the call as well.
Where is Danzanite?
It's off of, it's pretty much the south side. It's like Southern and Western Hills area.
I see.
It's a little bit farther west of the location where we were at before.
Okay. And about how long were you at that call?
I would say 10 minutes.
Okay. So about what time were you leaving there?
Probably around 8 o'clock or a little bit after.
Did anything significant happen as you were leaving?
Yeah,
And also without saying anything that Officer Benner said to you?
correct. After that call, we talked outside for a little bit. Just like our units were parked next to each other, so we just talked about, Red River and how much fun we had. And I just told him, I was like, man, it's time to go home. And he just was like, without saying exactly what he said, he's just like, just wanted to go home and see Julie.
Okay.
He was all excited to see Julie.
And did you leave that call at that time?
Yes.
And what major road did you pull out onto?
We pulled off onto Southern was the major road that we pulled off onto.
Okay. And where were you in relation to Officer Benner at that time?
I was a couple car lengths behind him, so there's a couple of vehicles between me and him.
What were you driving? Or what was he driving?
He was driving his, his SUV unit.
Okay. And what happened next?
So as we were driving down, we were both going eastbound on Southern. We were going towards 520 because he usually takes 520 and home. So I was behind him. He got behind it was like a darker color SUV, and I heard him start calling out a license plate that he was trying to run over the air.
Okay, so he was running a license plate, and did anything come back?
Nothing came back. He just kept running, and dispatch was saying, yeah, we don't have any return, which usually means that it could mean a couple of things.
Okay, what is that commonly called?
A skip plate.
Okay, and you said it can mean several things. Give us some examples.
It could have been your registration was expired, or the plate was no good anymore. It could have been a fake plate, made up plate. or it could have been just an error in the MVD.
Why would Officer Benner have run the plate of the car in front of him?
Objection, speculation.
Sustained.
Why do officers usually run plates?
We were looking for registration violations through New Mexico, through the program leads that we had on our MDTs. It would show if you ran a registration on a vehicle, it would show if the owner of that vehicle had a warrant for their arrest. So it was a common practice.
Okay, so it was common practice for Rio Rancho?
Yes, I run plates on a daily basis when I was employed by them.
Okay. And what happened next?
So I heard him call it out a few times. I saw him turn his lights on. He started to pull the vehicle over as he was getting down towards Southern, and I saw him last pulling into the Albertsons parking lot with the same vehicle that he was behind.
And where did you go?
I turned southbound on Sarah.
Okay. And where did you go after that?
I started going towards Latitudes because I was going to get a cup of coffee, but prior to getting there I saw a traffic violation, so I conducted a traffic stop upon a vehicle in the area of, it was like West Side and Grande.
Okay. So you mentioned that you saw the vehicle that he was pulling over. Did you see anybody inside of that vehicle?
No, I didn't.
All right, so you had just conducted a traffic stop, correct?
Yes.
And what did you do after that?
Do you need your, we have the IT person here, do you need the laptop at this time?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, we do.
Let's take like a 5-minute break and make sure you monitor them. You never fail, you double check them late last week, but it never fails once you get started. Take a 5-minute break, or 10-minute break, let's get this thing going.
All rise.